Hi, welcome to the RPA AI Voice of the Customer series. I'm Dan Goodstein. I head the Institute for RPA and AI. I'm joined today by Chris Karaszewski, Global RPA Product Manager at HSBC. Chris, good to be with you. Thanks for joining the show.
Yes, hello, good morning, everyone. Good evening, actually. Nice to be here.
Thanks for taking the time. I wanted to talk to you. I was tracking some things that you were doing around finalizing a ChatGPT powered framework project. I know it was a lot of work, and certainly there's a lot of interest around large language models and ChatGPT on our network. So, tell me about the project and tell me about yourself.
Well, I'm based in Poland. I'm working, as you said, for HSBC Bank as a product manager, but this project was more an offsite project that I was doing in my free time. And actually, I'm experimenting with large language models for quite some time to trying to see what can we squeeze out of these AI solutions for a purpose of robotic process automation. And when I was making few other experiments, I came up with an idea that actually it would make sense to integrate GPT, ChatGPT, and other. Actually, it can work with other large language models as well. To integrate the ChatGPT with UiPath, not in terms of sending some queries and asking to analyze the text or extract certain information from like web page, but actually use it to fix the solution, fix the selector. During one of the experiments that I was doing, I realized that actually OpenAI GPTs are great at analyzing HTML documents and extracting important information, important from a technical point of view. And that leads to creation of GPT Power framework, which not only can run the automation when it breaks and repair the selectors, but basically the outcome of that is that it can run the entire automation even without predefined selectors. You can just simply tell where the solution to type or to click, and it will find the selector for you without stopping the process. So if you're experiencing a significant upgrade of your underlying applications for RPA, which is very common, you will not experience any issues. The ChatGPT can basically fix the not working selectors for you, and that's of course reducing the downtime for your RPA robots. So
Very interesting. So, what prompted you to take this on? Was there a specific problem or use case that you were thinking about?
at a bank, and I know that I mean many other companies are facing similar issues. When we migrate our solution, for example, from test to production, in most of the cases, these applications are not the same. And use of that selectors, of course, we are using different technology, but eventually it is something in the form of selector or UI attributes. They no longer works, right? So it creates for us at the bank many issues. But what is more important, it's very painful and it can delay the project by weeks, even sometimes by months. So yeah, that was the use case that I had in mind. And using ChatGPT integration with OpenAI servers, the query can be sent together with HTML code and the name of the UI element to integrate with, and return back the solid valid selector, so there is less work required for RPA developers. They just don't need to put that much effort into fixing the solution.
Interesting. So, you mentioned to me previously that your main goal is to present some interesting use cases for ChatGPT and in RPA development and show what RPA tools can look like in the future. Are there other use cases or areas that you're looking into?
Yeah, actually, I'm checking quite a lot, and that's all in area of actually experimenting with ChatGPT to build automation solutions, right? So I'm not using it, ChatGPT or OpenAI, basically, to like analyze emails, right? There's of course hundreds of use cases, hundreds of people working on these use cases. I concentrate my efforts on actually checking what ChatGPT can provide for developers, for actually people who builds the solutions. And there are many things that I'm currently verifying. I think so one of them, one of most interesting of them is just how ChatGPT can build the entire automation components out of the simple prompt. For that purpose, I have built Microbots AI Chrome extension that basically takes the HTML code of the web page, and you can just tell what automation to build, and it will build for you. Of course, the output is in Python or JavaScript, but it's absolutely valid automation that if you have a proper infrastructure, you can use straight away. And there are more use cases like that. I think very another interesting use case is more is to modernize the existing IT architecture and applications that the people have, I mean, the legacy ones. And the one main reason why we are using RPA is because there is no API integrations for these applications. With ChatGPT, we can take the documentation, take the, for example, the data, the database structure, and with a little bit of prompting, we can get out a fully functional API integration that's basically simplifies the entire business process automation cycle.
So what there's some plenty of opportunities, right? What are some of the challenges you're finding with ChatGPT or just LLMs in general? Anything in particular?
Well, I think everyone is challenging. So the predictable and consistent response from the servers, right? It's AI, so it's a little bit creative, and in many cases, especially for developers for a technical purpose, in many cases, it's too creative, right? So we want the format to be in exact presented in exact way in JSON, right, or something like that, or there's the solution to be built in a specific using specific structure, and it's not always as consistent as we would as developer expect. Then that's why it's very important to have a proper testing data and test your solution and have some verification mechanism embedded, like I have in my GPT powered framework, where I'm always validating if the created the selector created by AI is valid. Is it can it identify the UI element that I was asking it to provide the selector for? And if it doesn't, then I start sort of conversation with AI saying that no, it's not a valid selector. Please change it. Please update it according to some certain rules. And now in that was actually what allows me to build that solution. So that verification process rather than actually complex prompt. I was trying to get selector out from using even very complex prompting methods, and none of them worked. But when I applied that method of verifying the content that is provided back, then the solution started working properly, and I was able to and I was able to generate correct selectors.
How do you ensure that the large language models and public things like ChatGPT are safe to use from a security and compliance standpoint?
Okay, so when you're using private cloud, it's not that risky from IT security perspective. And there is an enterprise version of the Open AI that is deployed on Azure Cloud. But I think that's what is important is to have a proper test data embedded I mean, consider to have enough test data to test the AI solutions, because AI solutions, like, I mean, in general, large language models likes to hallucinate, likes to provide accurate responses, right, or makes things up. So that if you want your solution, AI solution, to work properly, you need to have enough test data to address these issues, to test properly the solution so the output is consistent. And I find this as a risk rather than any other IT security, cyber security risks.
Got it. Got it. I get a lot of I get a lot of members that ask me about, how all the generative AI and just AI advances in general are going to affect, the RPA space. What do you think RPA is going to look like in the next couple 3 years?
Well, I think thanks to the AI, a lot of IT applications will be modernized and will be migrated to modern technologies. Due of that, the need for RPA will will shrink, right? We will no longer need that many UI automations. Of course, then this modern applications, modernized applications will have API integrations. Due of that, the usage of API integration will increase. And this is what we already seeing happening, right? More and more, even very old legacy applications being upgraded, and they already have some API enabled integrations available to, so that it's way more efficient to integrate with the systems using API rather than UI automation and RPA. And of course, there will be many changes in the space of RPA itself. There is very interesting solutions like Adapt AI, Gent AI that allows to automate without selectors or create solutions just based on the prompt. There is, I think, also my experiment with microbots AI from extensions is interesting because this one also allows you to generate even entire automations just based on the description of the process. And that's, I think, important because that creates a competition for RPA vendors. Not only they competing themselves, but right now they will have to compete with AI and with open source solutions and technologies, right? So that puts more pressure on them to be up to speed. And we see, I think we all of us sees that pressure and how they trying to switch from RPA only vendors to AI and RPA vendors, which I think will be very difficult for them because this AI world is changing very fast and there are updates very frequently. And the tools like AutoGPT, GPT Engineer might shortly be capable of building automations and maintaining these automations almost independently or with very little effort from a human.
So my last question, Chris, is, for those watching who are just kind of starting down this journey of integrating AI or AI with RPA, what's your advice?
I think people should try themselves. It is not that difficult to integrate with OpenAI servers or LLMs. It doesn't matter. There are plenty of good resources showing how to send query to OpenAI GPT models. If you don't know how to code, there are most likely some connectors that you can use. And there are many good free resources available like Deep Learning AI. There's entire learning platform dedicated for a purpose of teaching people how to use large language models, how to build solutions based on large language models. And that's the one that I would advise to use.
Chris, thanks so much for sharing your story, and I hope to have you back on after your next successful project.
Thank you.